Hello everyone and welcome to this Podbean tutorial where we'll be showing you how to start a podcast for beginners. Right away we're here on Podbean and we can go over to the top right to sign up. We have the link to Podbean in the description below so you can get a head start and start your journey right away. So go ahead and click on sign up free, and here you have the option to continue with Google, with Apple, or you can fill in your details manually. We're going to go ahead with Google. And right away, we're in our Podbean dashboard. Here you can see create your podcast now. So we're going to click and create your podcast now. Great. So on this page, it's as easy as clicking on creating your new podcast or importing from an existing podcast. Now, if you select create a new podcast, it's going to take you to this page where you'll need to click on go to setup, where you'll need to set up your podcast. As you can see here, it says set up your podcast's basic information and briefly describe what your podcast is about. And also here, if you already have your podcast, if you wanted to change your mind to actually import your podcast to Podbean, instead of going back, you can click on import to Podbean. However, if you would like to proceed, you'll need to follow these steps, such as providing your basic information and describing what your podcast is about. Next, you'll need to publish your first episode by uploading a video file or an audio file of your podcast, providing your episode information and publishing it, or scheduling the episode to be published at a later time. So here we're going to click on go to setup just to show you a bit more as to what you can expect from Podbean. And here you have your podcast title, your brief description, a podcast category, and your logo to match with your podcast. There are more options to click, such as your podcast website, your author or owner, language, copyright, country of origin, etc. And there's some just more details you can add to your podcast. So here we just have a podcast pilot, and the description is basically what we want, and the podcast category is a drop down, and you could choose what you want. So you could say business, and then you have your podcast logo. We're going to leave it as that, and then click on update options. And here it says we need to give a better description. So we're going to give a longer and better one. So here we have our podcast title, brief description, podcast category, podcast logo, and we're going to click on update options. As you can see, updated successfully. Then when your setup is done, you can click on publish your first episode. You can click on new episode. And here you're going to upload your audio file or select from an account. So we're going to drag and drop a file here. As you can see, supported MP3, M4A, SRT, and VTT. So we're going to drop our pilot one. So here we're going to give it a file name, a title, and a description. And then we're going to go ahead and publish. So as you can see, we have our file name, the title, and then we have a description. You could either save it as a draft or you could go ahead and click on publish now. As you can see, success episode published. We can scroll down to get more listeners. As you might have noticed, we've already started our podcast and you just need to get more listeners to distribute your podcast in order to have more exposure. Podbean can help you get exposure for your podcast through Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, etc. And so we're going to click on distribute your podcasts. And it's going to take you to this page where you have podcast apps. And as we mentioned, you have lots of other options. Of course, the Podbean app is among the options by default. You could choose other options in order to get a better exposure. Now, do take note that you will need an upgraded plan in order to have access to these other distribution services, but you can come back to where you have episodes and you have here episodes list and media manager. Here we have the pilot, the user Jim Cliff, and you have the status as published and the type is public. If you'd like to go ahead and share it manually, you can come over here to where the title is. You could edit the episode, view the episode, or you can click on share and embed. When you click on that, you can see you have the download URL, episode URL, or share URL. And you can also share it on Facebook, X, LinkedIn, or via email. After you've done your first podcast or a set of podcasts, you can come over to statistics in order to have your metrics and analysis of how well your podcast is doing. Don't forget to follow the link in the description in order to get a head start on Podbean, and we wish you success in your podcast. Do let us know in the comments section below if you found this helpful, and thanks for watching.